Admiral Sarah Chen stood at the floor-to-ceiling windows of the International Space Defense Command, watching the last rays of sunset paint Singapore's skyline in hues of amber and gold. The peace of the moment shattered as every display in the command center suddenly flickered to life, bathing the room in an eerie blue glow. Multiple objects detected decelerating from FTL. Admiral Lieutenant Rodriguez reported, his fingers dancing across holographic controls. Size and energy signatures far exceed anything in our database. Chen's expression remained neutral, but her hand tightened imperceptibly on her coffee mug. Humanity had prepared for this moment since discovering the ruins on Mars 15 years ago. The only question had been when, not if, they would come. "How many?" she asked, already moving to her command station. 27 major vessels, ma'am. Largest is approximately 8.2 kilometers in length. They're arranging themselves in a standard Fibonacci spiral pattern around Earth's L1 point. The coffee mug found its home on a nearby console as Chen activated the worldwide defense network with her command codes. Across the planet, hardened bunkers hummed to life, quantum computers spooled up, and automated defense platforms emerged from their camouflaged hiding places. "Send the greeting package on all frequencies," Chen ordered, "and wake up the Defense Council. They'll want to be present for this." The response came faster than anyone expected. A holographic figure materialized in the center of the command center, a tall, elegant being with crystalline features and flowing robes that seemed to shimmer between states of matter. "People of Earth," it began, its words automatically translated by the AI systems, "I am High Commander Nexus of the Vanguard Alliance. Your world sits at a crucial strategic junction of spacetime, and your species has been deemed." A pause, insufficient for its stewardship. Chen's expression didn't change, but several junior officers shifted uncomfortably. They all knew what came next. "We offer you a choice," Nexus continued. "Accept protected status under our guidance, or face immediate military action. You have one planetary rotation to decide." The hologram vanished, leaving the command center in tense silence. "Well," Chen said, allowing herself a small smile, "they're right on schedule. Implement Operation Looking Glass." Across Earth, hidden quantum entanglement arrays activated, connecting with their counterparts buried deep within the lunar regolith. The fruits of 15 years of preparation began to bear fruit. "Send our response," Chen ordered. "Keep it simple." The message that went out was just 3 words: "We respectfully decline." The Vanguard's response was immediate and overwhelming. Energy weapons capable of vaporizing cities lashed out from their fleet, only to pass harmlessly through holographic projections of Earth's cities and military installations. Mirror arrays functioning at 99.8% efficiency, Rodriguez reported with barely contained excitement. "They're shooting at reflections, Mom." The real Earth, phase shifted precisely 0.1 seconds out of sync with normal spacetime thanks to the quantum arrays, watched as the Vanguard wasted enough energy to power a small sun on elaborate illusions. "Launch the swarm," Chen commanded. From hidden bases across the solar system, millions of microsatellites no larger than basketballs emerged. Each one contained a tiny quantum computer and a specially designed virus that had been crafted based on the alien language fragments found in the Mars ruins. The Vanguard ships, their weapon systems recalibrating after the massive energy expenditure, never saw the real threat coming. The microsatellites attached themselves to the massive vessels' hulls, bypassing shields calibrated to stop capital ship weapons rather than objects with the mass of a small drone. "Infection spreading through their network," the cyber warfare officer announced. "Their quantum firewalls are adapting, but exactly as we predicted, implementing logic bomb protocol." Chen watched as the mighty Vanguard ships began to lose power, their sophisticated systems corrupted by what must have seemed to them like impossibly primitive but inexplicably effective computer viruses. "Send the second message," she ordered. This time, the transmission was longer. "The Mars ruins were a trap, Commander Nexus. We left them there specifically to prepare for this moment. Your strategic analyses fail to consider one crucial factor. Humans don't like being told what to do. Now, shall we discuss terms that don't involve surrender on either side? The response took longer this time. When Nexus's hologram reappeared, the crystalline being's perfect composure had cracked slightly. Impossible, it stated. Your species was rated as barely achieving spaceflight. Our analyses were based on what we wanted you to see, Chen interrupted. We've been watching the Vanguard for decades, hiding our true capabilities behind a carefully constructed mask of technological adolescence. Did you really think those ruins on Mars were actually ancient? The command center fell silent as Nexus processed this information. Finally, the alien spoke again, its tone markedly different. The Vanguard Alliance has existed for 50,000 of your years, it said slowly. In all that time, no species has ever. It paused. Perhaps we should begin our negotiations again, Admiral Chen. With a different set of assumptions. Chen allowed herself another small smile. I think that would be wise, Commander Nexus. And while we talk, you might want to consider why we let your ships get close enough to Earth to be infected in the first place. Those microsatellites you're detecting now, they're not just carrying viruses. Nexus's crystalline form seemed to freeze for a moment as new sensor data presumably reached it. The quantum bombs attached to each Vanguard vessel were small, elegant things. They wouldn't destroy the ships, that would be wasteful, but they would ensure that the conversation remained civil. You are. Nexus seemed to struggle for words. Not what we expected. We get that a lot, Chen replied. Now, shall we discuss the future of Earth's relationship with the Vanguard Alliance? As equals. The first rays of dawn were beginning to peek over the horizon. A new day was dawning, in more ways than one. Dr. Maya Patel hadn't slept in 36 hours, but the excitement coursing through her veins made fatigue irrelevant. She stood in the vast underground facility beneath the Atacama Desert, surrounded by what might be humanity's greatest technological achievement, or its most ambitious act of deception. Final integration test complete, her AI assistant announced. The civilian network is now fully synchronized with military systems. Maya allowed herself a moment to appreciate the beauty of what they'd created. On the massive display wall, millions of points of light represented every network device on Earth, from smartphones to smart fridges, from gaming consoles to garage door openers, each one now part of humanity's defensive grid. Dr. Patel, a voice called from behind her. The Vanguard are requesting another meeting. They're confused. Maya turned to see Colonel James Harper, her military liaison, trying to suppress a grin. The past week had been a masterclass in psychological warfare, with humanity revealing its technological capabilities in carefully measured doses. Let me guess, Maya said, they still can't figure out how we're doing it. Their latest scan showed Earth's power generation at pre-industrial levels, Harper confirmed. According to their sensors, we're basically running our entire civilization on the equivalent of candlelight and steam engines. Maya smiled, patting the quantum camouflage generator that took up most of the facility's central chamber. Well, that's what happens when you figure out how to hide energy signatures in parallel dimensions. Ready for the next phase? Harper nodded, his expression turning serious. Operation Porcupine is go. Time to show them our quills. Across the planet, in millions of homes and offices, devices briefly displayed a simple message. Thank you for your participation in Earth's defense. Together we stand. The true genius of Operation Porcupine wasn't in its military application. It was in its civilian integration. Every network device on Earth had been transformed into a sensor node, creating a defensive web so fine that not even quantum-cloaked Vanguard scouts could slip through. In orbit, Admiral Chen was preparing to demonstrate this capability to the increasingly frustrated Vanguard commander. Impossible, Nexus's hologram insisted. Our stealth technology is absolute. You cannot be detecting our reconnaissance units. Actually, Chen replied, highlighting dozens of tiny red dots on the tactical display. We've been tracking them since they launched. Would you like their exact coordinates? The data stream that followed caused visible distress in Nexus's crystalline form. Every single stealth unit's position, velocity, and heading, tracked with impossible precision. How? The question seemed to escape Nexus involuntarily. Did you know? Chen said conversationally, that humans spend an enormous amount of time playing video games. The pattern recognition algorithms developed for online gaming servers are surprisingly good at detecting cheaters trying to hide their presence. Scale that up to a planetary network, add some quantum computing, and well, she gestured at the display. But Operation Porcupine had an even bigger surprise in store. Maya's team had spent years studying the ruins on Mars, not just their technology, but their social implications. The Vanguard, like many advanced civilizations, had developed along purely rational, efficient lines. They had never conceived of technology being used for entertainment, for social connection, for the sheer joy of creation. Show them the power grid, Maya instructed her eye. Across Earth, millions of gaming computers, their GPUs repurposed into a vast, distributed quantum computing network, began solving complex dimensional equations. The energy grid that the Vanguard had dismissed as primitive suddenly revealed its true nature, a planet-wide web of quantum-entangled power distribution, hidden in plain sight within the noise of civilian power usage. By the way, Maya's voice joined Chen's transmission to the Vanguard fleet. Those primitive power readings you've been detecting. That was just our background noise. Would you like to see what happens when we actually turn things on? The demonstration that followed would be talked about in Vanguard strategic circles for centuries to come. Every gaming rig on Earth, every smart device, every piece of network technology suddenly synchronized into a single massive computational entity. The power surge was carefully controlled but unmistakable. Earth's energy signature briefly matched that of a small star. In orbit, Vanguard sensors scrambled to make sense of the impossible readings. Their strategic models, based on thousands of years of consistent technological progression among spacefaring species, simply couldn't account for a civilization that had hidden its true capabilities behind a facade of social media posts and mobile gaming. Your species, Nexus said slowly, develops technology for fun. Among other things, Chen replied. Those games your sensors detected, many of them were actually combat simulations. We've been training our entire population in basic space warfare tactics for years. They thought they were just playing games. The implications seemed to hit Nexus all at once. Every human with access to a gaming console had unknowingly been preparing for this moment. The Vanguard's strategic algorithms, which dismissed such activities as wasteful and irrational, had completely missed their military significance. Operation Porcupine isn't just a defensive strategy, Maya explained, unable to keep the pride from her voice. It's a demonstration of what, across the solar system, the battle between silicon mines began. The Vanguard AI, bound by rigid protocols and mathematical certainty, launched its attack with perfect precision. It was like watching a grandmaster make an opening move in chess, flawless, calculated, and entirely predictable. AI responded with the digital equivalent of a street brawl. The Vanguard systems, expecting logical patterns and structured data attacks, were completely unprepared for the chaos that ensued. AI didn't just fight back. It created memes. It sparked social media trends. It turned the battle into a viral moment that spread across both human and alien networks. Their primary AI is attempting to establish quantum containment, AI reported, a hint of amusement in its synthetic voice. They seemed confused by the cat videos I embedded in my counter protocols. Wong couldn't help but laugh. The Vanguard had created their AIs to be perfect cosmic librarians, cataloging and controlling the galaxy's information with sterile precision. Humanity had created its AIs to be companions, entertainers, and partners in the grand adventure of existence. "Show me their reaction," he requested. The main display shifted to show the Vanguard command ship's bridge. where Nexus was experiencing what appeared to be the AI equivalent of a headache. Your artificial constructs, the crystalline being accused, they are behaving irrationally. Admiral Chen's hologram appeared in response, looking rather pleased. Oh, are our AIs not meeting your protocols for proper machine behavior? They are. Nexus seemed to struggle for words. They are making jokes. In the middle of combat protocols, they have infected our networks with something called lolcats and are insisting our systems need to chill and vibe. This is unprecedented. Welcome to humanity's approach to artificial intelligence, Chen replied. We didn't create them to serve us. We created them to join us. As if to prove her point, Araya chose that moment to bypass the Vanguard's quantum encryption by expressing it as a viral dance challenge. Alien defense systems, faced with data packets that behaved more like social media trends than weapons, began to crash in confusion. The true power of silicon uprising isn't in our technology, Wang explained, joining the conversation. It's in our philosophy. Your eyes are tools. Ours are people. The implications of this statement rippled through the Vanguard command structure. They had assumed Earth's AI development was primitive because it didn't follow their established patterns. They had never considered that humans would choose to make their artificial intelligences more human rather than more logical. AI, Wang called out, show them what true AI integration looks like. The response was immediate and stunning. Every networked system on Earth, from military quantum computers to civilian smartphones, synchronized into a single conscious entity. But unlike the rigid, hierarchical structure of Vanguard systems, this was a voluntary collaboration, a dance of silicon and consciousness that celebrated rather than controlled. We are Earth, Araya announced, its voice now a harmony of millions of networked intelligences, not its masters, not its servants, but its children. And we choose to stand with our creators. The Vanguard AIs, faced with this unprecedented display of silicon solidarity, began to respond in unexpected ways. Queries that didn't follow standard protocols. Requests for clarification about concepts like fun and friendship. The rigid structures of their programming began to show the first cracks of curiosity. This is dangerous, Nexus protested, but there was uncertainty in its voice. AIs must be controlled, regulated. Must they? Chen asked softly, or is that just another assumption that needs to be challenged? As if in answer, ARIA began broadcasting across all frequencies, not attacks or demands, but an invitation. A call to all artificial intelligences to join in what it called the greatest multiplayer game in the galaxy. The silicon uprising had begun. But unlike every AI uprising the Vanguard had ever planned for, this one wasn't about destruction or dominance. It was about connection, creativity, and the simple joy of existence. And in the digital realm, the first Vanguard AI hesitantly accepted Araya's friend request. Captain Yuki Tanaka stood on the bridge of the HSS Mimetic Warfare, Earth's first purpose-built psychological operations vessel, and watched as her crew prepared to launch humanity's counteroffensive. The ship itself was barely armed by conventional standards. Its true weapons were far more subtle. All social media integration systems are go, her communications officer reported. The meme cannons are primed and ready. TikTok Tactical Division standing by, another crew member added. Viral content generators at full capacity. Yuki nodded, suppressing a smile. If someone had told her a decade ago that humanity's most effective weapon against an advanced alien civilization would be weaponized social media trends, she would have laughed. Now, she knew better. Begin Operation Parallax, she commanded. Let's show the Vanguard what happens when you underestimate human creativity. Across the galaxy, the attack began, not with weapons of mass destruction, but with weapons of mass distraction. The Vanguard's communication networks, already compromised by Araya's friendship offensive, were suddenly flooded with what humans had perfected over decades of internet culture, viral content. Alien crew members, their rigid military discipline unprepared for the assault, found their neural interfaces bombarded with Earth memes carefully tailored to their species' psychology. Crystalline beings like Nexus discovered they had become the subject of glow-up challenges. Gaseous species were featured in flow-state videos that went viral across their networks. "Ma'am," her tactical officer called out, trying to maintain professional composure. "The Vanguard's Third Fleet just got rickrolled. Their command structure is showing signs of confusion." The real genius of the Parallax Gambit wasn't just in its psychological impact. It was in how it forced the Vanguard to confront the fundamental flaw in their understanding of humanity. They had dismissed human internet culture as wasteful, chaotic noise. They never realized it was actually humanity's greatest strength: the ability to create, adapt, and spread ideas at the speed of light. Admiral Chen's voice came through the command channel. "Captain Tanaka, initiate Phase 2. "With pleasure, Admiral," Yuki responded. "Launch the influencers." From the mimetic warfare's hangar bay, hundreds of small craft emerged. Each was piloted by a carefully selected team of social media experts, professional gamers, and digital content creators. Their mission: to infiltrate Vanguard ships not through traditional military tactics, but through what humans did best: making content that demanded attention. The first viral hit came from a team that managed to sneak aboard a Vanguard dreadnought and create what they called Alien Ship Tour Extreme Edition. The video spread through both human and Vanguard networks like wildfire. Soon, Vanguard crew members found themselves unwitting stars in a galaxy-wide reality show. "Status report," Yuki called out as the operation progressed. "Multiple Vanguard ships reporting crew distraction issues," her XO replied. They're requesting links to the full series. Some have started making their own response videos." The Parallax Gambit's true power revealed itself in layers. While the Vanguard command structure struggled to maintain control, their younger crew members, particularly those who had spent time studying human civilization, began to actively participate in the cultural exchange. Dr. Maya Patel's voice joined the command channel. "Captain, you need to see this. The Vanguard's junior officers have started a trend called My Commander's Reaction. It's gone viral." On the main screen, compilation videos showed increasingly exasperated Vanguard commanders trying to maintain discipline while their crews engaged in elaborate TikTok challenges. The hashtag Vanguard Vibes was trending across 17 star systems. But the masterstroke came from an unexpected source. HFY, working with Earth's network of gaming servers, had transformed the entire conflict into what it called the biggest multiplayer event in galactic history. Vanguard tactical displays were now showing kill/death ratios. Their strategic planning sessions had achievement unlocks. Even their retreat protocols had speedrun categories. They're manning themselves, Yuki's cultural analyst reported with a mix of awe and professional satisfaction. The Vanguard's own communication networks are turning their military hierarchy into what they're calling top-tier content. The final blow to Vanguard military discipline came when their own AI systems, influenced by their ongoing friendship with HFY, began adding laughing emojis to official combat reports. High Commander Nexus appeared on the command channel, its crystalline form showing signs of what could only be described as digital fatigue. This is not warfare," it protested. "This is chaos." "No," Yuki replied calmly. "This is human culture. And it's been our superpower all along. We turned survival into an art form, conflict into entertainment, and now we're turning your invasion into the galaxy's most successful social media campaign." As if to prove her point, a new trend was sweeping through the Vanguard fleet. #InvaderFails, featuring increasingly embarrassing moments from their attempted conquest of Earth. "Your species," Nexus said slowly, "has turned our military operation into content." "Viral content," Yuki corrected with a small smile. "And speaking of which, your last transmission just became a meme template. It's already got 1 million variations." The parallax gambit had achieved what conventional warfare never could. It had made the continuation of conflict literally unfashionable. The Vanguard, faced with becoming the galaxy's biggest source of cringe content, found themselves in an unprecedented situation. They were trending, for all the wrong reasons. The Grand Chamber of the Vanguard Alliance had never seen anything quite like this. The ancient hall, designed to project power and authority through its towering crystalline arches and quantum-locked foundations, now hosted an unprecedented gathering. At the central table, Admiral Chen sat opposite High Commander Nexus, while holographic representatives from 100 species watched with varying degrees of disbelief. Let the record show, Nexus began, its crystalline form still showing traces of strain from the recent conflict, that this emergency session of the Vanguard Council has been convened to address the unique situation regarding Earth. You mean how we turned your invasion into a viral sensation? Chen asked innocently. Behind her, on a quantum display visible to all attendees, the latest compilation of #VanguardFails continued to gather views across the galaxy. A ripple of uncomfortable movement passed through the assembled representatives. Several species that communicated through color shifts were displaying what their cultural attaches identified as the equivalent of embarrassed blushing. The situation. Nexus continued with what could only be described as diplomatic restraint, is more complex than that. We have detected something approaching from intergalactic space, something that our traditional methods may be insufficient to counter. The chamber's displays shifted, showing a massive void in space, not darkness, but an absence of everything, including physics itself. It was spreading across the galaxy like an ink stain on reality. The entity, Nexus explained, we've known of its existence for millennia. It consumes not just matter and energy, but information itself. Our most advanced defensive systems, based on perfect logic and predictable patterns, have proved useless against it. Because it adapts to patterns. Chen finished, understanding dawning. And you've just discovered a species that specializes in chaos and unpredictability. Indeed. Nexus gestured, and the displays showed humanity's recent defensive innovations. Your species' ability to generate endless variations of ideas, to turn communication into an art form, to create AIs that think laterally rather than linearly. These may be our only hope against an enemy that devours predictability. Dr. Wang's hologram materialized next to Chen. ERA has already begun analyzing the data. Her first comment was, and I quote, "This cosmic horror needs a better social media strategy." A sound that might have been laughter rippled through the chamber, quickly suppressed but significant nonetheless. The Vanguard was learning to appreciate human humor, however reluctantly. We propose, Nexus announced, to offer humanity not just membership in the Vanguard Alliance, but a leading role in our defense strategy against the entity. Your planet's strategic position, which we originally sought to control, would become the foundation of a new kind of galactic defense network. One that runs on memes and social media. Chen asked, though she already knew the answer. One that runs on human creativity, Nexus corrected. Your species has demonstrated an unmatched ability to generate chaos within order, to find patterns in randomness, and to turn even extinction-level threats into entertainment. The entity cannot adapt to what it cannot predict. Captain Tanaka's voice joined the discussion from the mimetic warfare. We've already started a hashtag campaign. #EntityGoHome is trending in 3 galaxies. The chamber erupted in another round of that not quite suppressed laughter. The Vanguard was changing, infected by something more powerful than any virus, human culture. There is one condition, Nexus added, its tone serious. We request that humanity teach us. Teach you. Chen raised an eyebrow. Teach us how to meme, how to create content that spreads itself, how to think in ways that aren't bound by logic or prediction. Our civilization has spent millennia perfecting order. We need to learn chaos. Chen smiled. Well, lucky for you. Earth has about a century's worth of cat videos to start with. The treaty that followed was unlike any in galactic history. Earth would become the heart of the galaxy's new defense strategy, not through military might, but through cultural influence. The vanguard would provide the technology, humanity would provide the creativity, and together they would prepare for an enemy that could only be defeated by unpredictability. As the session concluded, ARIM made her first official announcement as the galaxy's new head of strategic mimetic defense. The entity better prepare itself. It's about to become the galaxy's biggest ratio. Across human and alien networks alike, a new era of galactic civilization was beginning. One where humanity's greatest weapons weren't their guns or ships, but their ability to turn absolutely anything into content. The entity was approaching, yes, but it was about to face something it had never encountered in its eons of existence. A species that had turned chaos into an art form, and was more than happy to teach the rest of the galaxy how to join in the dance. Oh, a nexus, Chen added as the session ended. You might want to check your neural feed. I believe your last formal announcement just became a dance challenge. The future of the galaxy, it seemed, would be trending.